Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. Here, this is the spot where the conversations are pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Did you bring your thinking caps? Because it's time to put them on. Because the conversation starts now. Expert Brains, welcome.
Right.
We're on the edge.
Okay.
Talk about some very intimate things. Talk about her journey that she's going through right now with cervical cancer. She's my shero. We're going to talk about that beautiful brain up under that bald head and what it felt like when it was revealed who you really are. When you go back to infancy to who you really are. And having confidence to be able to walk out, to know who you are in spite of what other folks think, what other folks is whispering and saying, but knowing truly who you are and how she's helping people rise to the occasion. So Brains, help me welcome her to the edge, TrevisMichelle. Hi, beautiful.
Hello, Queen. How are you today?
Girl, I can't complain about nothing. Not today anyway. Not today. Now, if you had to talk to me yesterday, it would have been a different story. It's TrevisMichelle. So Brains, help. Where do you live, beautiful?
I live in the great NYC.
New York City?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I do.
What's going on in New York right now?
People are living, surviving. You know, it's New York City. We never sleep. Keeps going.
And it is amazing. I was there not too long ago, and I still got that taste in my mouth. I had one of them chopped cheese sandwiches, like a Philly cheese down in the Bronx. Girl, I ate myself into the abyss. It was so good. It was so good. So tell us a little bit about you and how you show up in the world.
Well, I'm TrevisMichelle. My silent investor. I'm a registered nurse for this is my 26th year. I know it doesn't look like it, right?
Not at all.
But I'm currently a businesswoman. So I'm a speaker. I've spoken on stages with Les Brown, Cheryl Wood, Chrisette Michelle, and more, and Dr. George Fraser. And in addition to that, I'm a TV host of Late Night with TrevisMichelle show every Wednesday. And it's talking about the ugly side of the backstory. And what does that mean? It means I have guests come on and they share their journey, the challenges on their way to success. Because it's great to talk about the success, right? The shiny object. But what about those of us who are still on that journey and you come through challenges? How do you get past it without giving up? So they share that. And I'm also an international bestselling author ×2.
Oh, yikes.
Yes, so excited about that. And expert confidence coach. And what does that really mean? Because it sounds great, right? Tagline. But what I do is I equip business women defeat negative thoughts of self-sabotage and imposter syndrome while rebirthing and rebuilding confidence so that they can reach the highest level of success in business, relationships, and life.
Well, hell, you're doing the heavy lifting right there. Yes, you are. We need a crane. So how did you pivot into that from nursing?
It was during the pandemic. And I came down with COVID in February 2020, before everyone knew what it was. The doctors are like, you don't have the flu. We don't know what it is. But I was sick. And I was about to call an ambulance. So for a nurse or a doctor to start to call 911, you know, we're pretty bad because we try to fix ourselves. And I prayed. And I said, God, if you help me get through this, I will share my testimony the way I'm supposed to be doing, right? Because I've been doing it off and on for years. I said, but I will definitely give you credit. This will be your business. You helped me to survive this. And I literally went in the bathroom and everything came up and out. And that started my journey in 2020. So by the end of that year, I was an international bestselling author, part of an anthology. The book was called Saving Lives While Fighting for Mine.
Do you have it there with you?
I do.
Let me see. Lift it up. Yes, yes, yes. Is that available for purchase on Amazon?
No, you can DM me on my IG, and you can purchase it through that.
But put it up there again. I want their eyes to focus on that. Yes, look at that, brains. That is a winner right there. Saving lives while fighting for mine.
Right. And I spoke about my journey as a Black woman going through divorce. So I really thought that was my story, and over time, people kept saying, yeah, but your confidence, what is it? It's confidence. And finally, it's like, no, you always are helping us to believe in ourselves, giving us the tools that we need. And you're coming through so confident. And I'm like, really? Because I'd be going through. But the way people perceive you and what you're going through doesn't always look the same. So I actually formed my LLC, TrevisMichelle, in April of 2020 because I wanted to do things with integrity and correct. And my family was like, yeah, this is what you have to do. And with that support, and I love nursing, but it's not the passion that I've had. Now is getting out there and speaking, and I am good at it, right? I'm confident that I can say that. So my journey, no one wants my journey. I'm just going to let y'all know, you don't want my journey, but you definitely want my testimony, because my testimony can save lives, can change lives, can pivot people, can open your mind to shift, and giving you the tools that you need to be successful.
Are you still nursing?
Right now, I'm not, because I am going through my cervical cancer journey. So through all of this, then later I get through COVID, I ride a bike. What is it? 3 times a week, 2 to 3 times a week, 14 miles, 7 miles to work my shift, 7 miles back home. I did this for a year. And in that time, at the end of that year, I came up with kidney stones. And with finding the kidney stones, they saw I had fibroids. I didn't know I had fibroids. So
you didn't. Well, let me dial back a little bit, because I want to ask you a little bit about the fibroids, because I have fibroids too, and that is something that seems to really magnify in Black women or women of color. Maybe that's because our blood is so thick and rich. I don't know, but really, and there's a lot of signs. There's a lot of symptoms. You had no signs or symptoms?
For the fibroid, no, I've always had a very flat stomach. Even though I've had 3 children, I always had a really flat stomach. And I noticed I had, I was like, wow, my stomach is not as flat. And I just absentmindedly said, oh, it's probably a fibroid, because I know fibroids are common, especially in Black women. And I just blew it off. It wasn't bothering me. I was having no pain. But I did have pain from the kidney stone, and I've never had a kidney stone, have no family history of kidney stones. So once they did the sonogram, they said, oh my gosh, you have a kidney stone. I mean, you have a fibroid, and one of them is really big. And I was like, really? So a good friend of mine who is also a doctor, she's like, you have to go and do your GYN checkup. And I was like, I'm just going to get these fibroids taken out. And she's like, no, you're not. You're going to go for your GYN first. And when I did go for my gynecological checkup, they did discover that I had a tumor, because I couldn't even complete the exam. It was really bad. It was very painful. And I just love my team. When I tell you, before I went on this journey, I prayed and it was like, God, I'm a good nurse, but I do not like being the patient. So I need you to help me find the right team. And so my doctor, I had the results of the pap smear. She called me a week later and says, what are you doing tomorrow? And I remember it because I was sitting on the other side of this counter in my kitchen. And I was like, I'm available. She says, well, you have an appointment with the oncologist at 11 a.m. She didn't wait for me to make the appointment. She made the appointment. And, that kind of like, okay. And when I went 10 days later, I was told, not even 10 days later, that it was definitely cervical cancer. And I started on my journey. So that was diagnosed on November 5th, told my family on the 12th with the results. And December 1st, I started treatment.
Can you walk us a little bit through the treatment, the process? Everyone is different. I understand everybody's going to have different options and choices. But the realization when it slapped you in the back of the neck, you were like, this can't, I'm a nurse. This doesn't happen to me. How did you feel when you first really it really sunk in that this was real?
You know, and it sounds a little different, but for me, God had been working on our relationship. He had to prune people out of my life. COVID, I had time to sit there and really pray and not be so busy in church and busy at work and busy in my organizations and busy with family and busy with everyone else. I had time to really look at myself, make decisions on what I wanted to do better in my life. And when I heard the diagnosis, everyone else heard cancer. I heard curable. And that's one of my topic speeches, right? Signature speeches is I heard cancer, you heard curable. I'm sorry, you heard cancer, I heard curable. Because I already knew that I have a message to get out there. So I know, like, God, I have to live and not die. It's not going to happen if I'm dead. So what's the next step? So I didn't really spend a lot of time, woe is me. I spent 3 days snotting, crying, and cussing. Yes, I did. Right. And then it was like, okay, wipe your face, wipe your tears. Let's go, God. What's next? And I went on through the journey with my team. I just am fortunate and blessed that I have like the best team ever. And they're at Columbia, New York Presbyterian here in the city. When my gynecologist referred me to my oncologist, who's also a surgeon, it was the right match. They know that I have a PTSD from sexual trauma in the past, and they were very sensitive to that. And they didn't make me feel bad that I had not been to the doctor for GYN. Everything else, as a nurse, you got to go for your annuals. I did everything else, but I didn't follow up with that. And they didn't make me feel bad about it. And because they did that, it made it easier for me to be a willing participant in my care, which is part of my W.A.L.K method. And then I had to take those action steps, which was going to the doctor, taking every test known to man, blood work, MRIs, which I've never had in my life. And I've sent my patients there. I've been there with them outside the room, all of that. But now being there as a patient. But with that, I had to learn to love myself. I had to really love myself. But what did that look like? That meant I had to forgive myself for not going to the checkups with the GYN, because other people, when was the last time? Like, it's their business, but people feel very comfortable asking you personal. And I'm just like, no, end of discussion, period. I don't need to give you an explanation. But because I forgave myself, it led me to freedom. So I didn't have to worry about that anymore. I didn't have to go in there with my head down. Well, I didn't go, so this is my fault. I should have checked it earlier. I can't do anything about what happened before. Right. Nothing. Which led me.
You got to live in the here and now.
Right. Which led me to redemption, which means I can walk through my journey, right? So that I can kick butt unapologetically. I don't have to apologize for what I didn't do, who I'm not, what I was, because I'm here standing now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you've come to this realization. You're walking this walk. You've consciously uncoupled. You divorced. You are separating now from nursing. Thank you for drinking from the cup. And also, you are now on this journey to recovery. You found time to write a book. You have documented your journey. I'm sure that you're journaling. What would you tell a woman that has not maybe been through that, but is going through one of those things? What would you tell that sister right now?
Well, I'm still going through it. So I did 25 rounds, I guess they call it, sessions with radiation. Wow. And 5 weeks, 1 day a week of chemotherapy. But 22 of those 25, I drove myself to radiation. Now, looking back, I don't know how I did.
I'm sorry. I want to kind of dissect this a little bit for people that don't know. What is the radiation treatment like? Are you like in a dome, and this laser is specifically pinpointing an area? I'm ignorant to it. I don't know. Can you share?
Well, when you go, for instance, in the airport, you go and you stand up, they're looking at you, right? That's like radiation. It's a different form. Well, this, I was laying down and they had a flat, it wasn't in a tube, everything was open. And they just had a machine that would come down over my face, kind of like in the back there with the hood.
Okay.
And it would be targeted to my pelvic area. You didn't feel anything. It took 20 minutes. You were in, out. They had music playing for me because I asked for it. And that, and you went out. That was it for the radiation. But they used the same amount of radiation for 25 days. And it's not that the radiation increased, it's just that the radiation stays in your body and it accumulates. So, and then it was supposed to be 5 weeks. Every Friday I had to go for chemotherapy. My body could only take 4 of the weeks because it's so strong. So that's where they stick an IV in your arm, and you have to have fluids. You have to drink a lot of water because it can hurt your kidneys. It's poison, unnecessary poison, but it is what it is.
Right.
So that's what the chemotherapy part is. But
but people have different types of chemotherapy. I know some people that take it in pill form. Some people take it in injection form. So yeah, okay, so I get it. And it's dependent upon, of course, where it is in the body as well. The radiation, has it made you feel weak? What side effects have you lived through or living through?
Yes, radiation. Now, I'm a registered nurse, remember?
Mm-hmm.
ER trauma has been my specialty, but I've done pediatrics, oncology, and all kinds of nursing. So I understand when the doctor said, this is going to be grueling treatment. Okay, I got this. This is very, you're going to be very fatigued and it's going to increase. And they gave me all of the symptoms I would possibly have. And I was like, okay, I got this, I'm going to be good. Well, I didn't know what grueling meant until now. I did not know what fatigue. When I say it's like a light switch. So the first couple of weeks, I was like, I thought they said that something was going to happen here. I thought I was going to have all these symptoms. I'm pretty good. Well, it was about a week and a half in, I started having symptoms. By the second week, I could come home and I had to lay on my couch. I had nothing left. I literally had nothing left. And it just kept getting worse and worse because you're so tired. And then the side effects from chemotherapy is crazy. People, we talk about it lightly because nobody really wants to hear about that. They just know that you're going through. But it's hell. It is tough. And you have to have something inside of you. That's why I say all of the cancer warriors are my heroes and sheroes. Because to get up every day, to purposefully, intentionally go and let someone put poison in your body, knowing that afterwards you are going to have nausea, diarrhea, constipation, where you're photosensitive, you might be vomiting, not just the nausea, that you can't filter out sounds too much, bothers you, that you're having pain. There are so many side effects. In addition to whatever tumor you may have, whether it's liquid, meaning it's in your blood, or solid, like mine was in the cervix, you don't know. And you still have to worry about your family. You're thinking about your family, you're thinking about your friends, because you don't want them to feel bad for you, but you don't also want them to treat you like a cancer patient. Mm-hmm. You want them to treat you like you're still human, and people step away from you. I have lost friends.
I know. Instead of drawing to you, but they're afraid. They don't know the proper thing to say. They don't know what to do. They can't interact with you the way that they once did before. But sometimes just holding space. And you can hold space at your house with me. We held space together before we got started. You just hold that space for me in your heart and let me know, and send up words of encouragement. Send up that mighty timber on my behalf. That's what you can do. Send me a flower. Send me a card. Right. I may not be able to eat it, but send me a fruit basket anyway. As Wendy Williams always says, send me a muffin basket. Just let me know that you care. Care right. for me more than you cared for me before. Give me my flowers while I'm alive. So many people look at cancer as a death sentence, but it's not for everybody. Now, there are going to be people that's going to expire, okay? Because we're all organic and we're all going to expire at one point or another. But to whom much is given, much is required. And you are on the other side of this because you're there to smile. And I already claimed it. I already see it. And cervical cancer, I hear, is one of the toughest. That and pancreatic and colon are three of the toughest cancers that people struggle with. What did you say to yourself when your hair came out and you saw that beautiful bald brain? What did you say? Did you say, "Damn it, look at me, how pretty am I"?
Actually, I did not. That sounds good though. That sounds good, but no. I was told that my hair, because of the type of chemo and the amount, that my hair should not fall out. And I was like, if it falls out, it falls out. See, I was at a reality that whatever I have to go through to get through, then I have to deal with it. So I was at a really good space, and I've always been at a good place. Even when I'm in my darkest times, I'm still at a good place because of my support system. And I have to mention my three children, Akil, Sasha, and Kalik. They were my caregivers, right? They were the ones that my daughter took me for 3 of my chemos. And she's married, 3 kids, lives an hour away from me, 2 dogs. Her dad lives here. I mean, she's a supervisor. And then my youngest son, Khalid, came up from Miami and worked from home here in New York for 6 weeks and literally took care of me. And then my oldest son drove 9 hours with his baby, because he's a single dad, Akil, to New York to help his brother out to make sure that his mom was okay. So, I had such good support, and then I had certain friends that were there. So just to say, to wrap up, with people that I had to lose friendships with, it was okay. I'm not concerned. When we're going through our journey, we can't concern ourselves with how you're feeling. Now, our close people, we do. We don't want you to hurt. But if you feel that all of a sudden you can't be around us, I'm good with that. But please don't come back, because that's something that you have to deal with. So I know you weren't my ride or ride. I don't say ride or die.
So you wouldn't welcome them
back?
You don't think they should come back?
They can come back like, hi, how are you? Stay in your lane, but you're never going to be in my inner circle again. Because if you can't say, and it's not that I'm angry, but I have to know what is important to me. See, when you put yourself as priority number 1, you want those people around you who are going to be there. Even if it's just, how many people that sent me a text, they don't even talk to me, but they just said, hey, keeping you in prayer. On Facebook, I would receive DMs. And I didn't even go on Facebook that often, but I would try to use my phone in between my delirium. And I would look and just say, wow, they just said, stay strong. That's it. They didn't have conversations. They weren't in my house. They weren't doing. And that was it. I mean, so many, hundreds of people. And so for those people that I thought were my ride or rides, for them to just not, and I tried reaching out to them. Now I'm sick. I'm feeling horrible, but I'm trying to.
Like, girl, where you at? Well, I had that. I remember when I got married. I didn't go through something as life altering that you're going through right now. But I would have given these girls my kidney. Absolutely. And them heifers didn't show up. Okay? Ain't sent a card, ain't sent a gift. And these was every Friday night at the club. Girl, you got 20. Okay, yeah, you can have 19. All of that. But there's a reason and there's a season. And it's okay. Would I invite them back? You're like me. They would have a front row seat. They could be in the overflow, they could be in the balcony, or they could buy a ticket.
Absolutely.
But my mother used to always tell me, she said, if you die with 3 of them, she said, you die with a treasure.
Right.
But everybody's not in that space. But then, I take into consideration that my journey is not their journey. And if they don't want to walk with me, then that's it's okay. But it still hurts.
You know what? For me, it didn't really hurt. And I say it didn't hurt because I had to have tough conversations with me. And these are conversations that a lot of people don't talk about. And clearly, every time people want to talk to me about my cancer journey, in addition, but I'm also speaking about my confidence, right? And there has to be awareness around it, because we don't want to talk about it. It makes other people feel uncomfortable. Well, too bad. Because when you look at me with my bald head, it smacks you in the face. Now, granted, some people have a bald head because they just want to shave their head, but that's not my story. So when my hair started coming out and my scalp was hurting, I was like,
no, I didn't realize that, because a lot of people assume, well, why don't you just put on a wig? They say the scalp is extremely tender.
it does. It was hurting. It was itching. And I have a ride or ride friend. She is Michelle Benjamin, and I will give her a shout out. She is the founder of Fearless Warrior Project, and she is a breast cancer warrior. So when I called her and I told her what I was going through, she says, "Oh, Team TrevisMichelle, all right." And she has been there throughout it. And when I would call and say, "Why is my head hurting?" I can't ask my children that. I can't ask my best friend that. She says, "Because your hair is falling out." And that's how it happens. And my girlfriend, who is also an oncology nurse, she goes, "Yeah, that's the sign that your hair is going to be falling out." I said, "But they told me it wasn't." And then I'd see my hair shedding. So I decided, look, nah, you are not going to take control of me. And so that's my mindset shifts. I don't think the way others do. I'm like, I'm going to take control of you. Cancer, okay, so I hear you, I got you, but no, you don't have me. So I had my head shaved, and I had my wigs lined up. Cancercare.org, shout out to them. I had 5 wigs lined up. I bought 5 wigs. I was wearing different colors. My doctor was like, "You can wear any color you want, try different styles." I mean, they're just so supportive, Dr. W.A.L.K and Dr. Chen. And one day I was going on IG Live, and I was like, I just don't feel like putting a wig on. And from that day forward, 2 months ago, I have not worn a wig. But I had to get to a point where I was comfortable, because when I was out in the street, if I had actually it was cold in New York, but we had a few warm days. Mm-hmm. And the way people were looking at me, I was like, are they looking at me because they think I have cancer? But men were smiling and kind of winking. And I was like, no, I don't think so. I don't think they'd be winking at a cancer patient. Mm-hmm. And my daughter's like, "No, Ma, because you look beautiful." My children are like, "Ma, that's perfect. That's your look." Mm-hmm. I was like, really? Mm-hmm. So my support team was right on board. And that is what's so important during this journey. So those people that fall off, those people that got pruned, I don't need that energy back.
You say got pruned. I like that. So is your hair growing back now?
I'm going to leave it this way. This is my signature look.
Oh, okay.
Because as an expert confidence coach, as a speaker, when you hear TrevisMichelle and you see me, this is who you're getting. Because I'm very confident now in who I am, and I don't want to put the wig on.
Mm-hmm. So TrevisMichelle, what would you tell a 25-year-old self?
I would tell my 25-year-old self to stop and listen to your heart. Listen to your gut. Don't try to please everybody else, because you're not pleasing anyone. Follow your path and your dream. Make yourself a priority, which will then allow your children to see that they're a priority. And always continue to put God first.
So I have some fun questions. What are 3 things that you just can't live without, Queen?
My eyelashes.
Go with yourself. Now, I have not done it. My eyes are sensitive. And so one of my guests sent me those magnetic eyelashes with the magnetic glue. And I said, I ain't going to try to do that. My luck, I have my eye glued together. But yours are gorgeous. So your eyelashes, okay, so you get those done.
No, these are magnetic.
Okay, so do I need not be afraid?
Need not be afraid. Really? I don't have an affiliate link yet, but I will. Okay. But they're for sensitive eyes. It's Opulence Lashes. Really? Dr. Ani, I'm giving you a shout out there. Okay. But yes, it's developed by a Black woman, and she's a Black ophthalmologist. Okay. So but yeah, doing the magnetic, because when you have cancer and you're going through that journey, you're looking at things that are toxic. And I used to use the glue. What? Duo? Please. I
I
should have
had it,
stopped.
wait, girl. I used that glue, and I'm telling you, the white one, it smelled like horse manure.
Oh no, not the one. Mine didn't have any smell, but
This one
it
had a smell that was awful. I was like, no, if I can't do it with mascara, then it won't get done.
yeah. But no, so I have on magnetic lashes. So that, yeah, I can't, I'm not doing without my lashes. Let me tell you.
What are the other two things?
I'm trying to think I really can't do without my stick shift. I have a sports car. I'm part of a sports club, and I have it's called a muffler delete. So I don't have mufflers on, and I pop and I drive the stick shifts, and so I can't. That's something that's fun for me, and that's why I was able to drive myself, because it was something I looked forward to. Even though once I got to the garage, I had to sit there for almost 10 minutes, but I enjoy driving. So it's driving my stick
Well, I
shift.
mean, you're blessed that you can even drive in New York, period.
New York is like every other city. You can drive in New York.
No, well, I don't know. When I came to New York, of course, I'm a tourist there. Everybody was walking or on the subway or taking a taxi. I saw very few people. My friends didn't even, well, they had cars, but they were parked in the garage. So that's good. And what's the third thing?
I'm trying to think. And you said fun things, right?
There's three things you can't live without.
The other, you know what? And I don't want to get emotional, but it's my kids.
Okay.
Sasha. Yeah. I love my grandchildren now. Y'all, I love my grannies.
Right.
But my babies.
I know.
I cut you.
Girl, I know. That's how I feel about Mr. Magnificent. I would cut somebody over here. Are you in a loving relationship?
With myself.
Okay, perfect.
At this time. Yes.
Because if you don't love yourself, it's disingenuous to try to love somebody else. And a lot of times too, those are people that walk away. Men cannot handle, or partners, I got to include everybody now. But they walk away when the other person gets sick. They don't know how to handle it. There's a certain fear. They feel a certain responsibility, and so I send love out to partners of people that are going through this. You have to find your way. Support groups. Have a conversation with the person that is going through it. They still have They still have capacity. Can't even say it. They still have the capacity to edit and filter love. They can support you just like you're supporting them. Again, it's about holding that space.
Can I say one thing though?
Absolutely.
I would like to give credit to those partners who are there, because we always want to talk about, like, and especially I don't male bash, especially not a Black man. I don't care what. Now, doesn't mean a couple of them I won't, but not in general. Mm-hmm. But there are so many men and women who are there beside their wives and their partners and their husbands. And I do want to recognize that. And there are more of them that stay than there are that leave. So I don't want to give any credit to those who don't stay for whatever reason. I really don't care. But I do want to acknowledge those caregivers, because we overlook them all the time. Mm-hmm. We really overlook our caregivers, and almost sometimes feel like they are obligated, and they're not, because what we're going through, they're going through it too. Mm-hmm. And then they don't know how to, and sometimes we're difficult. I know I got
girl. I took care of my mother for 30 years, and it's the little things, Right. I have a friend that's going through cancer, and they said that she has something called cancer brain, where she regresses back into her child, like mine, and she whines and she cries, and she wants certain things, or cleaning up someone's incontinence, a person that doesn't want to take their medication. We keep wanting to feed you. The body is saying, I'm not hungry. I reject it.
Yeah, and we do have chemo brain. We do get chemo brain. Let's see, when I'm on stages, you don't hear it. I'm here. I'm so laser focused because I ask my doctors when I get off here and I'm talking to my daughter, because I talk to my kids, like my daughter, I talk to just about every day. My son's at least, a couple of times a week. And I'm be speaking and I stutter. I have never stuttered in my life. But from the chemotherapy, I stutter and I get foggy. But when I'm on stages, if I'm on my show, you don't hear it. You would never know that. So
long-term effects of chemo, they can be debilitating, depends on what they are.
Yes.
They long-term? But then there's some people that don't really have long-term effects. Is that true as well?
We all have effects. It's just how we deal with it. No one gets through unscathed. Okay. They may not talk about it, but no one gets through unscathed. No one.
Well, you like to drive fast cars. Let me ask you something about the kitchen. If you were an appliance in that kitchen, what appliance would you be?
Probably my stove and my oven.
Why?
Because it's sitting there looking pretty and they ain't got to do much work.
Ooh, I'm scared of that until you spill something and then you got to clean it. I think I'd be the refrigerator because I just want to chill. What kind of music do you like?
I'm all over the spectrum. I go from R&B, and then I like country music. I like pop, and I listen to classical.
I like
so that. And then I gotta have a little bit of hip hop. Yeah,
girl, I want hip hop.
Old school with the the old school hip hop.
You want hip hop, girl? I go all the way. I want some gangster rap. When I'm in my sports car, we playing some DMX, okay? Ride or die, okay? Really,
right?
Really. It just
and
takes you to a different level. Yeah, and gospel.
Like
absolute gospel. What kind of food do you like when you're in the mood to eat?
It's so different now that food and I are just not that friendly, but always I can eat some crabs. When my son was here, I could eat salmon and I could eat crabs. That's all I wanted to eat. Mm-hmm. And even now I'll eat salad, but give me some crab legs, I am good. I know. And I can tolerate the salmon, but you know what I can't tolerate anymore? What? Is chicken.
Really?
I don't like the smell. I don't like the taste. Most foods, I just don't like them anymore. So
you think that might come back, or you have no idea?
I was told that it will come back. I'm not rushing it because I'm doing a lot of vegetables. Mm-hmm. And I don't even want a whole lot of pasta. I used to love me some pasta, not a whole lot of that, but I'm just letting my body heal. Mm-hmm. And I'm healthy. I'm down to the size I was supposed to be, because when you're working out, like riding 14 miles, and there would be some weeks I would ride 100 miles on my bike. That builds muscle. But because I wasn't eating properly, that was fat building muscle. So I've been able to get down to the size I'm supposed to be again. So that it really feels so good. And you're the first one I'm going to tell that I definitely want to do a cycle, because I love to cycle. And I don't know how it's going to happen. I'm just throwing it out there that I'm going to be able to cycle from New York to Miami. I don't know how it's going to do it, but that's what I'm going to do.
How have you done everything else? Okay. How have you done everything else? You are walking by faith and not by sight. And all you have to do is speak it into fruition and it will manifest itself. Yeah. So I have girl, I'll be covering you. Okay. Here she is, absolutely. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I think you are such a beautiful soul.
I share with you my journal.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, it's my.
Oh, hold on. Let me get the big picture. Oh, okay. Boss Up with Confidence, a 30-day journal or a 30-day journey to help you gain back your confidence one step at a time. Right. What's inside the pages of that?
You said how many?
No, what's inside? What does a person have to look forward to?
Well, this journal, it's so special to me. Again, that's the other thing. I am not an emotional person, but since chemo, man, I just tell folks, y'all just let me cry and let it get it out. Let tears fall and, we be all right. But my third week, chemo and radiation, I published this and became #1 international on Amazon. My daughter helped me get the cover together. She helped me get the inside. She was like, Mom, you're too wordy. We're supposed to be doing the work. Stop talking so much in the journal. My girlfriend was like, give me the deliverables, because I said to them, I need to publish this before the end of the year. Don't let me fail. Now, going through it, because you got to do a lot of things to get this published, the editor, all of this.
I did 3 times. I'm on book #4. I know, and it's no joke.
And I'm by myself. Before I had, an anthology, and I'm doing this all brand to the new, can barely think. And but my team said, we're not going to let you down. Now, did I want to punch every one of them in the throat and say, look, I have cancer, can y'all leave me alone? But they wouldn't. So I'm really proud of this journal, because the WALK method, the willing participant action steps, love yourself and kick butt unapologetically, you have 30 days. You can walk through it. Everybody's at a different journey, but it starts with your mind shifting and being present and accepting that there's an area of your life you need to change, right? Or you need to do better. And you don't take all of the areas and put it in one. It's for each, you have to, and it's the 30 days. So it's going to take you longer than 30 days to get through stuff, right? That's why you can order another one. But you can write down what you're going through and see it for yourself. And then we have quotes in here from people that, you don't normally hear from. Like, people don't know. The woman who does not require validation from anyone is the most feared individual on the planet. And that's by Mohodessa Najumi. Right. I wanted to have quotes in there that really meant something like, oh, shoot, yeah, I don't need anybody to make me feel good. I don't have to have your permission to do well. Right. So this is really and it's for quick wins. Like, some people, you got to go through, and I'm not knocking it because I've done it, but I want to take 6, 7, 10 months, 1,100 years. I need something quick so that it pushes me forward. In the times we're living in, people are feeling bad. You need a quick win. So if I at least acknowledge that I need to work on something, that's a win. Because you weren't thinking like that before.
Right. Absolutely. Please tell my brains how to get a copy of the journal, as well as how to contact you.
Well, you can get a copy of the journal by going to Amazon, looking up TrevisMichelle, Boss Up with Confidence. You'll see the journal there. To get in contact with me, you can go to my website, TrevisMichelle.com. You can also find me over on those social media streets at IG. That's where I love to hang out, at TrevisMichelle. I'm also on Clubhouse at TrevisMichelle, and on LinkedIn, as well as Facebook, and they're all TrevisMichelle. And I'm on Twitter too. So contact me and let's see how I can service you.
Here's to you, Queen.
Here's to you, Queen.
All right. Only on the edge, brains. TrevisMichelle, April Mahoney, here's to you. We can do this.
Yes, we can.
All right. Thank you, sister. I heard that you have this amazing tagline. Share that with us.
Thank you so much. I definitely will. Y'all, let me tell you, this is TrevisMichelle. You know how it goes. I'm too much for some. You got that already, right? Not enough for others, but that's your personal problem. But guess what? I'm always just right for me.
Ouch! I'm scared of that. How about that? That's perfect.
Thank you.